Nothing in life lasts forever, the good will pass and the bad will not last. Remember that we are finite and every moment counts. I dropped out in 10th grade and learned to fend for myself long before most people's first paycheck. Working 90 hours a week at a gas station for $1 an hour, I slept in a beat-up car, bathed in public restrooms, and more than once slipped a stolen apple into my pocket just to silence the growl in my stomach. Yet in those darkest moments I discovered my first Stoic lesson. Amor fati, love and embrace your fate. Learning to accept what life hands you does not mean giving up on change. It means recognizing that every setback is an opportunity to practice resilience. When I stood under flickering fluorescent lights, scrubbing floors at dawn, I could have cursed my circumstances. Instead, I chose to see each chore as a stepping stone, each challenge as a teacher. With amor fati, the past loses its grip on our present. Regret and resentment fade away when we learn to cherish every twist and turn of our journey. I began to reframe each hardship. Hunger became discipline, exhaustion became fortitude, and loss became a chance to rebuild stronger than before. The Stoics taught that we cannot control external events, only our responses. By redirecting my energy inward, I found freedom in the face of adversity. This philosophy does not demand blind optimism. It calls for radical acceptance, looking at life's harshest trials and saying, I choose this path because it fuels my growth. When I finally left that gas station job, I carried more than memories of hardship. I carried an unshakable belief that I could navigate any storm. I had forged my character in the crucible of necessity. Today, amor fati remains my compass. It reminds me to greet each sunrise with gratitude, even when the night before felt endless. It teaches me to dance with uncertainty, to find joy in the struggle, and to view every obstacle as a call to action. When life tests you, remember, your reaction defines your reality. Embrace your fate, and you will transform the very challenges you once feared into triumphs you celebrate. I enlisted at 17, barely more than a boy in uniform, and I couldn't read or write beyond the simplest words. Determined to change that, I taught myself the alphabet in stolen moments, before roll call, during quiet watch, in the dim glow of a single bulb. That first 196-page book took me 3 weeks to conquer, each line a battle won as I paused to look up every unfamiliar word in a battered dictionary. But once I broke through that barrier, I devoured 2 or 3 books at a time, proof of what the discipline of the mind can achieve. Every page I turned built more than vocabulary, it built confidence. Each paragraph I parsed strengthened my resolve. I went from struggling with basic sentences to navigating dense technical manuals as if I'd been born with pen in hand. The same regimented approach that taught me marches and formations now drilled into me an unshakable work ethic for self-education. Discipline isn't about willpower alone. It's about structuring your mind like a training ground. I set reading goals, tracked my progress on rough paper, rewarded myself with moments of rest only after I'd met my daily targets. When frustration threatened to derail me, when a complex sentence felt like an impenetrable wall, I reminded myself that every soldier faces obstacles. The difference lies in how you confront them. This transformation illustrates a simple truth. Our greatest victories often begin in silence and solitude. In the barracks, while others slept or socialized, I pored over lines of text, challenging my brain to grow stronger with every sentence. That laborious 3-week struggle became a rite of passage, marking the transition from illiteracy to lifelong learner. It proved that mental discipline can reshape your destiny. Today I still carry that lesson with me. Whenever I tackle a new skill, whether it's learning a language, mastering a software program, or absorbing complex theories, I recall how each word in that first book was a stepping stone. I organize my study like military operations: clear objectives, incremental progress checks, relentless focus, and a refusal to yield until the mission is complete. If you doubt your potential, remember this: discipline of the mind transforms the impossible into the inevitable. Start small. Commit to daily practice. Track your gains. Celebrate every milestone. Before long, you'll find yourself reading not just books, but the very blueprint of your own success. I used to believe that without a college degree, I was destined to watch others succeed while I stayed behind. Then I discovered a simple truth: you don't need a fancy credential to change your life, only willpower and determination. Stoicism teaches us that we can't control every circumstance, but we always control our actions. Once you embrace that, nothing can stand in your way. It starts with a choice. Will I respond to setbacks by retreating or by stepping forward? Each morning, I remind myself that my destiny isn't written in letters on a diploma but in the decisions I make today. When a project falters, I don't blame luck or limitations. I ask, what can I do right now to push it forward? This mindset turns every problem into an opportunity for action. Determination is a muscle you build through consistent effort. On days when motivation falters, I lean on small wins, finishing a task I've been avoiding, mastering a new skill for 20 minutes, sending that one difficult email. Each success, no matter how minor, adds to my confidence and strengthens my resolve. Over time, these incremental victories compound into unstoppable momentum. Stoic wisdom reminds us that external events are beyond our grasp, but our will is ours alone. When I face criticism, I pause, acknowledge the feedback, and choose my response deliberately. When obstacles arise, technical glitches, staffing shortages, unpredictable markets, I focus on what I can influence: my attitude, my work ethic, and my persistence. True determination isn't reckless stubbornness, it's disciplined action. It's setting clear goals, breaking them into manageable steps, and holding yourself accountable. It's celebrating progress without losing sight of the next challenge. It's understanding that failure isn't a final verdict but a lesson in disguise. If you doubt your potential because you lack a title or formal recognition, remember this: the most powerful qualification you possess is your mindset. Cultivate it with purpose. Reinforce it with action. And guard it against the voices that tell you it isn't enough. When willpower and determination become your guiding principles, you'll find yourself achieving things you once thought impossible. You'll move forward not because the path is clear, but because you've decided that no obstacle is large enough to stop you. Embrace your power, control your actions, and watch as the world opens to your relentless drive. They say youth are the backbone of tomorrow. But what good is strength without purpose? Right now, the oceans are choking on plastic, the air is thick with smog, and too many in power chase only profit and prestige while we breathe the consequences. It's on you, on us, to rise and defend the world we'll inherit. Imagine standing on a polluted shoreline, waves lapping at your feet through a carpet of plastic debris. It's easy to feel small against such a vast, broken system. Yet Stoicism teaches that greatness is born from action, not circumstance. You may not control the corporations dumping waste or the politicians dragging their feet, but you can control your own choices. What you consume, where you volunteer, how loudly you speak. Every piece of trash you refuse, every protest you join, every petition you sign, these are stones dropped into the ocean of change, creating ripples that spread farther than you know. When you choose a reusable bottle over a disposable cup, you demonstrate discipline of purpose. When you organize a beach cleanup with friends, you embody collective willpower. When you post facts about air quality on social media, you harness the power of voice. Action breeds momentum. Start small if you must. Pick one habit to overhaul, one item to refuse, one local group to support. Track your progress as though you were training for a marathon, because you are. This is a long race against indifference and greed. But just as a single drop of water wears away stone, relentless effort wears away injustice. Look to the Stoics. They reminded themselves daily that the world is shaped by our deeds, not our excuses. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we are born for cooperation, for helping one another. Epictetus urged us to focus on what lies within our control. Here lies the blueprint for environmental stewardship. You are not powerless. You are not too young to matter. With fierce dedication, you can curb pollution, restore ecosystems, and inspire the next wave of guardians. The air you clear today becomes the breath of tomorrow's children. The shoreline you save today becomes the habitat for generations of life. Stand firm. Act boldly. Protect the oceans and the air, because the future's backbone depends on what you do, right now. I felt the fire rise in my chest, anger at injustice, frustration at setbacks. And in that moment, I knew how easily we let emotion steer our actions. But Stoicism offers a different path. Master your feelings, breathe deeply, and choose a constructive response. Pause. Inhale. Exhale. That simple cycle creates space between impulse and action. I learned this on a day when a harsh email threatened to derail my entire project. My first instinct was to fire back with equal force. Instead, I stopped, counted 4 slow breaths, and reminded myself that anger is a messenger, not a master. With my pulse steadying, I drafted a calm, fact-based reply that solved the problem instead of fueling conflict. Breathing isn't just about oxygen, it's about choice. Each inhale invites clarity. Each exhale releases tension. When you feel your pulse quicken, practice this. Close your eyes, fill your lungs, and let the world slow for a moment. You'll find that the urge to lash out loses its grip. Next comes the decision. How will you channel your energy? Will you stew in resentment, or will you act with purpose? Stoicism teaches that our power lies in our responses, not in controlling external events. By focusing on solutions, we transform frustration into progress. I once faced a budget shortfall that threatened my team's morale. Instead of blaming circumstances or colleagues, I gathered everyone, acknowledged our shared disappointment, and asked, how can we adapt? We brainstormed cost-saving ideas, reallocated resources, and emerged stronger, united by positive action rather than divided by blame. Mastering emotion doesn't mean suppressing it. It means honoring its message. Anger signals a boundary, fear highlights a risk, then choosing the healthiest outlet. Write down your thoughts, discuss them with a trusted friend, or channel them into creative work. The goal is not to eliminate emotion, but to let reason guide its expression. When you practice this daily, you'll notice a shift. Challenges that once triggered rage now provoke thoughtful response. Conflicts become opportunities for growth. You'll breathe through stress, assess your options, and act with intention. So the next time you feel that surge of emotion, remember, you hold the reins. Breathe deeply, center your mind, and choose the path that builds, heals, and advances your goals. In mastering your feelings, you master your fate. I failed. More than once. I faced setbacks that made me question everything, my decisions, my vision, my future. But here's what I learned. Failure isn't the end unless you let it be. It's just another step on the path to success. Today I've published over 10 books, with my latest, Copper Penny, hitting the shelves. But I couldn't have arrived here without embracing one powerful truth: progress, not perfection. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, nailed it. He understood that the pursuit of perfection is a trap, one that paralyzes progress. The real goal isn't flawless execution but steady improvement. Every rejection letter, every failed pitch, every business deal that crumbled, each of those was a lesson in disguise. And without those lessons, I wouldn't have the stories, the wisdom, or the resilience that now fill my books. It's easy to look at success stories and think they happened overnight, but the truth is, success is built on a foundation of small, often imperfect steps. When I started my business, I didn't have a clear roadmap, just a burning desire to make something work. My first attempts weren't pretty. I stumbled. I fell. But I never stopped. Every failure taught me more about my craft, about perseverance, about who I was becoming. The same principle applies to life. Don't wait for the perfect moment to act. The perfect moment doesn't exist. But the next step does. The next sentence. The next idea. The next attempt. That's where the magic lies. Even when things seem unclear or when the outcome is uncertain, focus on the progress you're making, not the illusion of perfection. So, to anyone out there struggling, to anyone who feels like giving up, remember this: every setback is simply the groundwork for your next breakthrough. Keep moving. Keep learning. Keep building. Don't wait for perfection. Embrace the process. Every step, no matter how small, is part of the journey towards something bigger than you can imagine. And when you look back, as I have, you'll realize that your greatest accomplishments weren't the result of flawless execution, but of persistence. Progress is the true measure of success. Keep moving forward, one imperfect step at a time. At over 60 years old, I'm still learning, still writing, still striving to inspire. And let me tell you this from someone who's walked the long road: never quit. Life doesn't slow down just because the years do. Each day, no matter how small the step, brings me closer to the goals I've set, goals that still excite me, still challenge me, still push me beyond my limits. When I was younger, I thought success was about speed, about reaching the finish line as quickly as possible. But now, I know it's about consistency. It's about showing up every single day, even when the path is unclear, even when the energy feels low, even when doubt creeps in. Progress isn't always visible in the moment, but every word I write, every new lesson I learn, is a piece of the bigger picture. In Stoic philosophy, there's a core lesson. It's not the external world that defines us, but our response to it. Age, failure, hardship, these are all external factors. But our actions, our perseverance, our resilience, they come from within. And when you choose to never quit, when you decide that every small effort counts, you start to shape your own destiny. Some days, it feels like I'm just putting one foot in front of the other. But those little steps add up. The book that started with a single paragraph now has chapters. The idea that once seemed far-fetched is now a goal within reach. So if you're in the middle of a struggle, if you feel like progress is too slow or your dreams too distant, I urge you, don't stop. Every step, no matter how small, is taking you closer to where you want to be. As I reflect on my journey, I realize that quitting is the only way to fail. Every moment of persistence, every bit of effort, is a victory in itself. And so, at 60 and beyond, I continue to learn, to grow, and to encourage others to do the same. The key isn't in the destination. It's in the journey, the commitment to keep moving forward, even when the road seems long. Remember this: never quit. The path might be winding, but every step forward gets you closer to your goals. And one day when you look back, you'll see that those small steps were the foundation of everything you've achieved. Keep going. You've got this. Where will you start today? It doesn't matter how small the step, the important thing is to begin. Embrace your fate, train your mind, and keep moving forward, no matter the obstacles. The journey may be long, but with each step you're growing stronger, more resilient. Remember, the path to success isn't about perfection, but persistence. Keep going. Your future is shaped by the actions you take today. Don't wait for tomorrow, start now.